Ladies and gentlemen, we need to look at what Trump is doing no longer with a sense of amusement, no longer with a sense of curiosity that here is this person, he's lost it, or he's about to lose it, he's unpredictable, he's funny, he's weird. I mean, he's a source of amusement, he will increase the ratings of American channels. That would be a shallow way of looking at it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin by saying tonight that the world is in an extremely unstable situation because of Trump. I could not care less, like most of you, about what happens to the United States of America. I'm not an American national. I am an Indian citizen, and I'm concerned about the implications of Trump first on my country, primarily on my country. Keep in mind today, Trump has gone into a different phase post-Venezuela. He believes he has the right to be a global bully. Please remember, he has withdrawn from 66 international organizations in the last 24 hours, which means he's saying, I do not believe in any world order. Half of them are UN, like the UN framework for climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole post-World War II international order is coming apart, and this will have implications. It's not like the post-World War II world order which was created was a great world order. Obviously not. It was for the winners of the Second World War. But here is Trump who's saying, I am going to do a global free for all. Among the organizations that Trump has walked out of, or rather America has walked out of, is something very important for India, which is the India headquartered International Solar Alliance. The Modi government has put an incredible effort. Prime Minister Modi has put an incredible effort on putting it together. It matters to India, it matters to the world. It's among the organizations Trump has walked out of, America has walked out of. So America is going to walk its own path. Will it impact us? Yes, it will. Why? Because individual episodes sometimes have a great impact. Individual episodes have a great impact and a domino effect on the way things play out globally. What happened last night? The US military and the Coast Guard executed what they called as a high-stakes operation to seize the oil tanker Mariana. Now, these are the visuals. You can see the American troops go in, ladies and gentlemen, right? And this operation was conducted in the North Atlantic between Iceland and Scotland on January 7th. It is a 2-week pursuit. The Americans were in hot pursuit in this operation. And during this period, the crew changed the ship's name to Mariana and re-registered it under the Russian flag. They knew the Russians would be aggravated, but bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, bottom line is this: Trump did not care. Moscow reacted sharply. They called it violation of the freedom of navigation. They called the US interception illegal military action. But the point again is, Trump did not care. Trump does not care for anyone but his own personal ambition. And, ladies and gentlemen, among that, he will eventually, I can safely predict, seek a third term in office. He will violate every rule. He'll create new rules to stay longer as president, and he will violate all international laws. What is the impact of this on India? The impact is simply this: we cannot any longer think that what's happening in America is an American threat. America is not issuing threats. It is immediately executing threats in high stakes, new version of global diplomacy, which eventually Trump will run out of options, but in the short term, it will impact us. For example, now he is given clearance to a Lindsey Graham, US Senator pushed bill, which is called the Russian Sanctions Bill. Now, there have been reports that he has given a nod to this bill, which will increase sanctions on trade partners of Russia that deal in petroleum and uranium. This bill is called the Sanctioning Russia of 2025 bill, pushed by Lindsey Graham, and those are the text and the words so that you do not feel I'm aggravating or exaggerating anything. It says in clause 3 that the president must increase the rate of duty on all goods and services imported into the US from countries that knowingly engage in the exchange of Russian origin uranium and petroleum products to at least, and not at most, but at least 500% relative to the value of such goods and services. This means that in theory, Under this bill, India and China, both, we're concerned about India, could attract tariffs as high as 500%. That's why I put that graphic. We can put it back. Ladies and gentlemen, US media reports are saying that the Senate could vote on this as soon as next week. So is Trump actually going to impose 500% tariffs? Sounds unlikely, but let me tell you, under Trump, it's not impossible. As a nation, there is an extent to which we can give in. There is an extent to which we can negotiate. There is an extent to which we can try to accommodate. But now we must know, and I'm 100% sure the Modi government knows, this much and no further. I believe our government will be acting in a way, and therefore we must no longer think of what Trump can do or might do. Let's take an assumption Trump will do. Let's make an assumption Trump has lost it. He will do the most unreasonable thing, and let's plan. I'm sure that's the plan our government is working on. What could happen in the future? 6 points on what we think is likely to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, 1, India will most likely reiterate that its energy policy is dictated by national interest and not external pressure. Now, some people may say we should not do it, it will be taking on Trump, but no, I believe we must say it. We have the right to say it and the sovereign right to say it. We must say it regardless of the small consequences in the immediate term. We must think of the long term. Secondly, we are likely to say we'll keep a cordial relationship with Trump, but we are going to plan contingencies, which means alternative diplomatic arrangements with other great powers, with other middle powers. Germany is coming. We have the German Chancellor coming to India. We have the Europeans we are talking to. We are engaged strongly with all other countries. And most importantly, I believe now, especially if you saw the comment of Donald Trump on giving India Apaches, where he was speaking in a way to demean our government, to be satirical or funny, or to make references which I believe are inappropriate to our political leadership. If he speaks in this manner, then we must grow our defense and national capacity indigenously to plug vulnerabilities and over-reliance on American resources. I think we are already going to do it. And we have to build upon the estrangement in ties with the US because of Trump to position ourselves as a leading power in the global south. So we can turn this into an opportunity. I'm sure the Prime Minister will do it. I hope the Prime Minister will do it. I believe the Prime Minister is already working on it. So we can use this opportunity not for vulnerability or for Americans to get leverage, but for us to be the leader of the global south. And ladies and gentlemen, American companies will do business. They will continue to make and build in India. We should use their presence to make it clear to America that you cannot isolate us. You need our market too. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for us. We need to look at America and think less of what Trump will do. We need to think more of what we should do. I repeat, defense military complex, indigenous R&D, particularly in artificial energy, national green hydrogen mission. If we've been growing at X, we should now grow at 10X. After Operation Sindoor, we pretty much understood that we need to do more for our defense capability, much more, because as we become a great power, we will also face great challenges. But at the same time, if energy is going to determine which country moves ahead at which pace, this is the moment for us to make ourselves independent of America, not even let them dream of controlling our business, economic, and diplomatic decisions.